Yo guys, Craig here from Dare Mist. This week I'm flying solo, so I'm going to do a video I've been wanting to do for ages, which is an album review video. I know the channel's supposed to be about the band and all our escapades, but something I've been wanting to do for ages has been a wee album review. For anyone that regularly watches the channel, if you're not a fan of Nick Cave, well, I'm sorry, but this is what we're doing this week. Anyone that knows me knows I'm a fan of Nick Cave. I love him and the Bad Seeds. I've got most of their albums, listen to them all the time. It's been a bit of an obsession the last maybe couple of years. I have listened to him for many years, but really the last couple of years is when I've been getting into him the most. The end of last year I bought tickets to go and see him in Glasgow. I was super excited, and then obviously with what's been happening, it's been pushed back and then it got cancelled, which was gutting. But he said he would make up for it, and he has. He brought out a new album in February, Nick Cave and Warren Ellis. So Warren Ellis is a Bad Seed. He's the guy that on the last album probably done most of the musical work. Together the two have already got a back catalogue of amazing film soundtrack music, including films like The Road. That really jumps to mind as being an amazing soundtrack. Nick Cave has brought out this album Carnage. It's been out since February, and the vinyl release came out 3 weeks ago, something like that, is when I got it. So as you can imagine, I've been listening to it throughout the whole year. It's probably going to be my album of the year if I had to pick one. Carnage. I thought the best way to do it would be to go through it track by track and then do a conclusion, and also just go over the packaging and stuff like that. The album opens up with Hand of God. This track is really a standout. It always helps when the first track on an album is amazing. This track's really cinematic. There's a pulsing electronic beat that just keeps going through the track. Cave's vocals take front and centre here, similar to how it was mixed on Ghosteen, where his voice just sounds enormous. This is more going back to the murder and the grimness of Nick Cave and his humour as well. So Hand of God comes straight in. Cave summed it up himself. When the album came out, he said this is the most brutal and the most beautiful album. The first track, Hand of God's probably one of the more brutal ones. Like I said, it's just this pulsing beat through the whole song. Cave's amazing lyrics, Hand of God coming from the sky, gonna swim to the middle of the river and stay out there a while. I find this with a lot of the tracks on this album, they put you in a place, like if you just shut your eyes and listen to the words and the music, you can just create this image in your head that he's trying to conjure up. I was listening to this track when I was driving to Fort William, and I was going through this really creepy, windy road, and the sun was setting on the water. It was really dramatic, and I didn't know if I was lost, I didn't know what was going on. The song came on full blast. It was creepy, but fun to drive to also. Warren Ellis in this song doesn't take too much, it's more just like things coming in and out. This song is quite linear in that sense. There's no verse, chorus, or anything like that. One of the standout things is the high-pitched vocal that comes in when he's like, Hand of God, Hand of God. And at the end, there's a massive choir comes in. It's all very dramatic, as you can imagine. Definitely one worth checking out. Old Time. I'm actually going to look at the lyrics for this one. The Old Time harkens back very much to Push the Sky Away for me. So again, like I was saying, I was listening to this album when I was driving to Fort William, and it just stands out. He's talking about you and me in the car are lost. It's one of the first lines, and it feels like almost like he is talking to you. Again, his voice is just front and centre, and there's some weird like tape drum loops going on. It's quite unsettling, And the message of this song is, just like the old times, but baby, I'm not coming back this time. It has that sense that you're going somewhere and you know you're not going to come back the same person. And I feel like that's it. This album, Cave has said himself, it's an album that you can't get away from the fact that it's been recorded during a pandemic. And this song in particular does really allude to that, because I think the old times are gone, and when we go back to some kind of normality, it's going to be very different. And I think that's kind of the message here. So the next song is Carnage. Carnage is quite a heavy song, even though it's the title track. It's quite slow. He's a barefoot child in the forest, rolling down the mountains, always saying goodbye. It's got that creepiness to it, similar to some tracks that were on Ghosteen. And this could easily fit on Ghosteen, but I wouldn't say this one's a standout track. Very much an album track. The message I'm getting from this is that sometimes you find love in unexpected places, because he's talking about being in the mountains in the rain. A deer frozen in the headlights steps back into the woods. It's all very creepy imagery, and it ends with, and it's only love driving through the rain, rolling down the mountains like a train. White Elephant. If anyone's not heard this track, this is probably one of the best songs I've heard in a long time. So the story I've heard behind this song was that Cave wanted to write a song for his friend who's an artist who hadn't done art in a long time, and to coax him into doing art, he decided to write a poem. So he wrote White Elephant, and obviously he read it out and recorded it and sent him it. And when it came to doing this album, Ellis had a beat and a track, and he merged the two of them together to create this crazy song, because it's crazy in the sense that the vocals were recorded first with nothing behind it, and it seems to, obviously it's been edited and stuff, but it's a vocal that would never have been put down if you tried to put it down with the track already pre-existing. And to me, the words in this song really sum up the last year or whatever that's went past. The instrumentation's just amazing. It's just like two notes. It's a really simple riff. As the song goes on, more instrumentation just seems to come in. And it's like an almost strobe-like synth that's pulsing away, comes in, and it's like a knife cutting into you almost. The song, the lyrics just seem to escalate and escalate. It's basically about this guy is just like ready to blow on everyone, almost like the shootings that happen in America. It like almost puts you in the mind of a killer like that. There's just so many good lines on this track. This one in particular, protester kneels in the neck of a statue. Statue says, "I can't breathe." Protester says, "Now you know how it feels." Kicks it into the sea. There's a lot of stuff about an elephant gun, and like, "I'll shoot you for free with my elephant gun," with tears. And it took me a while to kind of get that, but listening to some interviews and stuff with Nick, he was saying that is about the memory of an elephant. The delivery is what really makes this song. Like, I could sit and read lyrics, but with my elephant gun of tears, "I'll shoot you all for free. If you even think of coming round here, I'll shoot you in the fucking face if you ever think of coming round here." It's the repetition of the coming round here that is almost psychotic. The president has called in the feds. "I've been planning this for years. I'll shoot you in the fucking face if you think of coming round here." It's almost funny as well in that way that Cave is. After this, the song just takes a total handbrake turn, and drums come in and just change the song entirely. A big choir comes in, and it's like a key change from minor to major. The time's coming for the kingdom in the sky is what he's saying. So I don't know if that's like the killer has killed himself and now he's found happiness. I'm not sure what he's trying to allude to with that, but it's a phenomenal song. So Albuquerque is easily probably the most typical Pandemic song on the album, and very much a Cave song, because it feels like it could be on any of his albums, to be honest. But obviously the fact that it's written during a pandemic gives it another slant. We won't get to Amsterdam anytime this year. That lake in Africa, you know, it's about not getting places. I think we can all relate to it. It's got some lovely strings going on. It's a nice song. There's not too much to it. There's not too much thinking, which is nice. Cave, just telling you how it is, and it's really honest. It's an honest song. It lets you in, like, after such a crazy song before it. It gives you an insight into Cave's real life. Lavender Fields, this song's probably one of the best songs on the album. Like, if I had to pick one, it might well be this. There's something about the instrumentation. It's a mixture of synths and strings. It makes you feel emotional as soon as you hear it. I can't put my finger on it. And it's about how the lavender fields have changed them as a person. And I'm not sure if that's just relating to nature and using the lavender fields as the analogy to that, but it's about travelling, how it's a singular road and people ask him how he's changed, and I think it must say a lot about he's had quite a troubled past, ex-heroin addict and stuff like that. But it's a really deep song, and again referencing the kingdom in the sky and walking across hills again. There is a lot of similar things going on here. Like it's almost like it's in the same universe as some of the other songs. And I think Warren Ellis said this is his favourite song. He said he heard it on the radio. I wish they played songs like this on the radio here. I don't know if he was in Australia or where he was, but it's an amazing song. From here, like the tracks seem to stay on this somewhat emotional note. The next song, Shattered Ground. And I felt with this song, I really like this song, but it's not a criticism, it's just something I've noticed, I would say. The vocal feels really cold. There's a reverb effect on the vocal, and it makes it sound cold. I don't know how else to describe it. I feel like it's a bit too much. Again, it's been recorded in a pandemic, and it does actually give you the sense of isolation. But really this song is about Cave and his wife going off, just the two of them, to the middle of nowhere, buying a house. One of my favourite lines on the album's on this track as well. There's a madness in her and a madness in me, and together it forms some kind of sanity. I love that line. So the last track on the album is Balcony Man. It's quite a sad song, this one, but it's a good one to round off the album. In this song, Cave talks about being 200 pounds of packed ice melting on the balcony, sitting on a chair in the morning sun. He goes between putting on his lap dancing shoes and his tap dancing shoes. Throughout the whole track, he keeps going between, I'm gonna put on my tap dancing shoes, oh yeah, my lap dancing shoes. It's quite comical in a way. The main message from this song is, this morning is amazing, so are you. It feels like he's actually telling you that as a friend. For someone that notoriously sings about murdering and, you know, his fair share of brutality, track just gives it another angle to Cave that we've not really seen before. And I find there was quite a lot of reverb on the vocal. It does give it that sense of isolation, but I found in this track it really works, because it's the exact same reverb, I'm pretty sure, on the whole album, on his vocals. To go over points about the whole album, you can really tell it's been recorded in a pandemic, and because of that, it carries a bit of weight to put on. Like, you need to be in the mood to put it on. Having said that, in this album, you see a side to Cave that we've not really seen. You get to hear Warren Ellis taking Cave in different directions that he wouldn't normally go. You can really tell that the two of them are just two best mates that have just went in and made an album together, which is something that I can really relate to. Because of that though, I do feel a lot of the tracks are quite cold. You almost can feel the sense of isolation. Tracks like White Elephant, that's just one of his best songs now. Really can't wait till he does a show and I can see him sing that song. The second side of the album is definitely a lot more somber. The feeling you get from him is that he's a very loving person, and that really comes through in this album, and it's nice to see that he's moving in a new direction after ghosting. The Bad Seeds material has kind of been on a similar vein for the last couple albums, so it's nice to have a bit of the brutal Cave back. So overall, great continuation of the Bad Seeds material. Really love the album. I think if you've listened to it and you don't like it, listen to it again and listen to it again until it will click eventually with you. It's a grower, this album, and I feel like most of Nick Cave's albums are, if you've not really listened to them before. Again though, you need to be in the mood for just listening to music. It demands your attention. It's not something you can just put on and just zone out to. It's something you need to be in the mood for. With regards to the physical release, I heard a lot of people complaining online about the album cover and how basic it was. Apparently there is some kind of sub-meaning to the layout of the letters, but a lot of people were saying, it's too boring for an album cover. But I actually really like it. I like how minimal it is. I'm still intrigued. Apparently he's going to say what the meaning is, but it's the same font that he's used on a lot of material. Yeah, it works. The other thing is that it works on a phone screen really well. We've said before in the past about how much we like bold letters. Well, there's plenty of bold letters going on here. Again, the actual album sleeve inside, it changes the letters about slightly, but all black. One thing I will say is that the book that's included, it's a bit thin for my liking, the paper. Obviously, it feels nice, but it's already got a wee bit creased, which you might be able to see, and that was purely from trying to put the record sleeve back in. So yeah, paper's a bit thin, and the book as well is all black and white, which I'm not really a fan. I would have liked maybe some different coloured letters or something in here just to mix it up. But with all Cave material, I really love having the lyrics there, because they're amazing just to read. The man has become a true poet. His words are really something else. They're just as well read as they are hearing them in as a song. Definitely a lyrical genius. And it's nice that this is basically just a lyrics book. I don't like to give albums a score. What I would say is, if you're a fan of Nick Cave, you've probably listened to this already. If you're not a fan of Nick Cave, if you've seen Peaky Blinders, he does the opening track to that. A lot of his music's featured in that, so you might know who he is without actually realising. So that's quite cool. Common criticism of the album is that the songs aren't that strong in comparison to a lot of other albums. And I tend to disagree with that. I think, Hand of God, amazing. White Elephant is amazing. Lavender Fields, those three tracks easily stand up with his best songs ever, in my opinion. A lot of the tracks can be quite heavy going. It's not a feel good album. It's been well reviewed by critics. It's been out for months at this point, so all Cave stuff really does seem to get well reviewed these days, so definitely gets a strong recommendation from me if you're into some really serious, cinematic, gritty, brutal and beautiful music. If you're more of a casual music listener, probably just put on some Taylor Swift or something. That's been my review of Carnage by Nick Cave and Warren Ellis. Thanks for watching. If you did enjoy this video, remember to like and subscribe, comment, let us know what you think. Next week could potentially have some more exciting news relating to the band. Wait and see how things go, but we could have some exciting updates, so we'll keep you posted. And thank you very much for watching. Catch you next week. See ya!